I just wanted to talk a little bit about a phenomenon that seems to be going on at the moment that I think is just really interesting. And the way I'll get into it is by talking about this film, Festen, which is an excellent film. I guess it must be around 20 years old by now. Um, but it's a film about a celebration for a guy, patriarch of this family, who's his 70th birthday or something, and his children and all the family members come around to celebrate this guy's life. But this gentleman here on the left, his son, stands up during the dinner, um, clinks a knife against a champagne glass to quieten everyone down. And then he describes in very authentic sounding detail um, what what his father did to him and his sister when they were children, which was sexually abuse them. And it's a incredibly shocking revelation, obviously, what is supposed to be this man's a day that's for to celebrate this man. And the interesting thing, and the reason the film is brilliant, and you must see it, is that it doesn't have any effect. The announcement has no effect. Uh, the festen, the celebration keeps going because it has its own momentum, and people feel awkward, and no one knows how to deal with it. It's just that's the genius of the film. He it requires so much bravery to do what he does, but it still doesn't have any effect. He has to do it again and again. I mean, at one point they tie him to a tree outside the house so he can't come in. You know, it's just a brilliant, brilliant film. I've not really spoiled it. I've just telling you the premise of the movie. So apologies if you wanted to go into it completely fresh. But anyway, the reason I bring it up is because I've noticed that there are what I would call news stories going around at the moment, and I would call them Festen stories, um, because they're so shocking, they're so upsetting, and yet no one is talking about them. The biggest recent example for me is the Newsnight story on the Tavistock this week, which said that homophobic parents were bringing their gender nonconforming children in to quote unquote fix them. You know, so if you have a feminine boy and you're a homophobic dad, you can fix your boy by turning him into a girl. So this is a very credible story in Newsnight. I mean, look at this quote here. One young girl said, "My mum wants the hormone more than I do." I mean, when you think about that, these are drugs, Lupron, an end-stage cancer treatment. They're giving them to kids. They're damaging these kids' future fertility. As Helen Joyce put it, they're sterilizing gay kids, right? I mean, what bigger story is there at the moment than this? And yet, all this week, I have not seen, I've seen barely any pickup of this in other publications or in other formats. It's a story that has just kind of fallen off the edge of the world. No further interest in it, you know? And it's like Festen. It's like, it just the momentum of everyone's feeling of, I don't know, certainty or that they're all progressing into a wonderful woke future. It's just too much for them to put the brakes on that. I mean, another one that I've tweeted tonight is something that just blew my mind. I'm in touch with the person who's behind this campaign, Keep Prison Single Sex. And I said to her, "What's the full list of how many male prisoners are there in the female estate?" Thinking she'd say about 5 people, and Karen White would be one of them. And it's this many people. These they're in for these kinds of crimes. Again, why is no one talking about this? Why is everyone pretending it's not happening? You know, some things are so important that you can't wait around for journalists to turn it into a 3-page feature. We have to start talking about this now. You know, Karen White had 4 victims. Look how many people are in this list, and they're all in for crimes like sexual assault, rape of children. Come on, fuck's sake! What does it take? I mean, rape of children. That's literally what Festen is about. You know. And as always, everyone looks at a film like that and they always think, no, I wouldn't be the people at the party. I'd be the good guys. I'd be the heroes trying to get the story out, you know? Well, you know, that doesn't seem to be the case for a lot of people. Anyway, yeah, that's kind of all I wanted to say. Sorry, it's hard to come up with jokes for that little rant. But I think I will have a lighter look at this tomorrow when I'm going to do another roundup of the week's events with Benji, GNC Centric, and Artie Morty, which will be a lot of, well, I say fun. It'll be as much fun as it can be. But yeah, see you then.